The old wooden door creaked like a scared mouse as Maya pushed it open. Smoke filled the air inside, thick and gray like fog on a winter morning. She stepped into the bar, and her boots made soft sounds on the dirty floor. The smell hit her nose, old beer, cigarettes, and sweat mixed together like a nasty soup. Every head in the room turned to look at her. Maya didn't smile. She didn't frown. Her face stayed calm, like a pond on a quiet day. But inside, her brain was working fast, like a computer counting numbers. She saw everything in one quick look. 5 big men sat at different tables. They wore black leather jackets with scary pictures on the back. Their motorcycles were parked outside, shining under the streetlights. These were bikers, rough men who liked to fight and scare people. The biggest one sat near the pool table. His arms were covered in tattoos of snakes and skulls. His beard was long and messy, like he hadn't brushed it in months. He had mean eyes, the kind that looked at people like they were toys to break. Maya walked slowly to the bar. Each step was careful, measured. She moved like a cat, smooth and quiet. The bartender, a skinny man with a dirty apron, stared at her with his mouth open. "Water," Maya said. Her voice was soft but strong, like steel wrapped in silk. The bartender didn't move. He just kept staring. Behind her, Maya heard chairs scraping against the floor. Heavy boots started walking. She didn't turn around. She didn't need to. She could feel them coming closer, like sharks smelling blood in the water. Well, a rough voice said. It was the big man with the beard. "What do we have here?" A pretty little bird flew into the wrong nest. His friends laughed. It was a mean laugh, the kind bullies make when they think they found someone weak. Maya still didn't turn around. She kept her eyes forward, looking at the dirty mirror behind the bar. In the reflection, she saw him getting closer. His shadow grew bigger and bigger on the wall. "I'm talking to you," the biker said. His voice got louder, angrier. Maya took a slow breath. In her mind, she was counting. 5 bikers. 3 doors, one in front, one in back, one to the bathroom. 1 mirror, bottles on the shelf. A broken bottle on the floor near the pool table. All weapons, all exits, all possibilities. Her military training kicked in without her even thinking about it. Years of fighting in secret places, protecting important people, stopping bad guys in the dark. It all came rushing back like a wave. The biker's hand suddenly grabbed her shoulder. His fingers dug into her skin, hard and rough like tree bark. "When I talk, you listen," he shouted. This was it. This was the moment everything would change. Maya turned slowly. She looked up at him. He was huge, almost 7 feet tall and wide as a refrigerator. His breath smelled like beer and onions. His teeth were yellow and crooked. "Let go," Maya said quietly. The biker laughed again. "Or what? You gonna call the police? You gonna cry?" His friends moved closer, forming a circle around her. They thought this would be fun. They thought she would scream or beg or run away. They had no idea who they were dealing with. "Last chance," Maya said. Her voice was still calm, but now there was something else in it. Something cold and dangerous, like ice cracking on a frozen lake. The biker's smile got bigger. "I like the tough ones. Makes it more fun when they break." He squeezed her shoulder harder, trying to make her cry out in pain. Maya didn't make a sound. Instead, she looked at his hand on her shoulder. Then she looked at his elbow. Then his knee. Then his neck. She was seeing pressure points, special spots on the body where one touch could make a person fall down, unable to move. In her mind, she saw the whole fight before it even started. She saw herself moving, striking, dodging. She saw each biker falling, one after another, like dominoes pushed over by an invisible hand. The bartender sensed something bad was about to happen. He backed away, hiding behind the counter. "You should have stayed home tonight," Maya whispered. The biker frowned, confused. "What did you—" He never finished his sentence. Maya's hand moved faster than a snake striking. Her elbow shot up and smashed into his nose with a crack that sounded like a branch breaking. Blood exploded from his face like a red fountain. He stumbled backward, his hands flying to his nose his eyes wide with shock and pain. You broke my nose, he screamed. Maya stepped forward. Her face was still calm, but her eyes had changed. They looked different now. Harder, sharper, like the eyes of a wolf ready to hunt. That was just the beginning, she said. The other 4 bikers stared for one frozen second. They couldn't believe what they just saw. This small woman had just hurt their leader, the biggest, meanest guy they knew. Then they all rushed at her at once. The real fight was about to begin. Maya bent her knees slightly, getting ready. Her hands came up in a fighting position, not like in the movies, but real and efficient, the way soldiers fight when their lives depend on it. 2 bikers came from the left. One came from the right. One stayed back, waiting. Time seemed to slow down. Maya could hear her own heartbeat, steady, calm, like a drum keeping rhythm. She could hear their heavy breathing. She could see sweat on their faces. She could smell their fear starting to mix with their anger. The first biker threw a punch at her head, big, wild, sloppy. Maya ducked under it easily. As she came up, her fist shot out and hit him right in the throat. He made a choking sound and fell to his knees, gasping for air like a fish out of water. The second biker grabbed her from behind, wrapping his big arms around her. Big mistake. Maya threw her head backward, smashing the back of her skull into his face. She heard his teeth crack. His arms loosened. She grabbed his wrist, twisted it with a quick motion, and flipped him over her shoulder. He crashed onto a table, breaking into pieces. The bar erupted into chaos. Glass shattered. Chairs flew. The jukebox in the corner kept playing an old country song, like nothing was happening. And in the middle of it all stood Maya, calm, focused, and absolutely deadly. The third biker didn't learn from watching his friends fall. He charged at Maya like an angry bull, roaring and swinging his fists wildly. Maya waited until he was close. So close, she could see the veins bulging in his neck. Then, at the last second, she stepped to the side like a dancer. The biker ran straight past her and crashed into the bar counter, hitting it so hard the wood cracked. He groaned and tried to stand up, but Maya's foot came down on the back of his knee. He heard a pop and screamed, falling face first on the floor. 3 down. 2 to go. The fourth biker was smarter than the others. He picked up a broken beer bottle from the floor, holding it like a knife. The jagged glass caught the light, sharp and dangerous. "Come on then," he said, his voice shaking a little. "Let's see how tough you are against this." He slashed at her face. Maya leaned back, and the bottle missed her nose by inches. She could feel the air move as it passed by. He slashed again, and again. Each time, Maya moved just enough to avoid getting cut. She wasn't running away. She was studying him, learning his pattern, waiting for the perfect moment. The biker got frustrated. He lunged forward, trying to stab her in the stomach. There it was, the opening. Maya caught his wrist midair with both hands. She twisted it hard to the right, then pulled it down while bringing her knee up. His arm bent the wrong way with a sickening crack. The bottle fell from his hand and shattered on the floor. Before he could scream, Maya's other hand chopped his neck. His eyes rolled back in his head, and he collapsed like a puppet with cut strings. 4 down. 1 to go. The fifth biker, the one who had stayed back, wasn't rushing in. He was the smart one, the dangerous one. He grabbed a pool cue from the table, gripping it like a baseball bat. "You must be one of them," he said slowly, circling her. "One of those special soldiers. I heard stories about women like you." Maya didn't answer. She just watched him, her body relaxed, but ready. He swung the pool cue at her head. Maya ducked and rolled to the side. The cue smashed into a chair, breaking it into splinters. He swung again, this time aiming for her legs. Maya jumped over it, landing light as a feather on her feet. The biker was getting tired. She could see it in the way his shoulders sagged, the way his breathing got heavier. He took one more big swing, putting all his strength into it. Maya didn't dodge this time. Instead, she stepped forward, inside his reach. The pool cue passed harmlessly behind her back. She grabbed it with one hand and punched him in the ribs with the other. Once, twice, 3 times. He let go of the pool cue and stumbled backward, holding his side. Maya snapped the pool cue over her knee like it was a twig. She dropped the pieces on the floor. The biker looked at her with fear in his eyes. "Please," he whispered. "Please don't." Maya's fist connected with his jaw. His head snapped to the side, and he crumpled to the ground, unconscious. The bar fell silent. 5 bikers lay on the floor, groaning and bleeding. Broken furniture was scattered everywhere. The air smelled like blood, sweat, and fear. Maya stood in the middle of it all, barely breathing hard. There wasn't a scratch on her. Her clothes weren't even wrinkled. The bartender peeked over the counter, his eyes wide with terror. What are you?" he whispered. Maya didn't answer. She walked to the bar and picked up a napkin, wiping a tiny spot of blood off her knuckles. The big biker, the one whose nose she had broken first, was crawling toward the door, leaving a trail of blood behind him. He looked back at her with pure horror in his eyes. "You're dead," he wheezed through his broken nose. "You hear me? You're dead. My brothers, they're going to come for you. All of them." Maya looked at him with cold eyes. "Let them come." The biker dragged himself out the door and disappeared into the night. For a moment, everything was quiet. The jukebox had stopped playing. The only sounds were groans of the injured men and the bartender's frightened breathing. Then Maya heard it, a motorcycle engine in the distance. Then another, not just one or two. Many, maybe 10 or more, all roaring like angry monsters. The sound got louder and louder, coming closer. The bartender's face went white. "Oh no," he whispered. "Oh no, no, no." He ducked back behind the counter, hiding like a scared rabbit. Maya walked to the window and looked out through the dirty glass. She saw headlights approaching, lots of them, cutting through the darkness like dragon eyes. This wasn't just a few bikers coming for revenge. This was an army. The motorcycles pulled up outside, engines rumbling. She counted 12 bikes, maybe more behind them. The engines cut off, one by one, until everything was silent again. Maya heard boots hitting the pavement. Doors didn't open, they kicked them in. The front door exploded inward, hanging off its hinges. These bikers were different from the first group. They moved like soldiers, not thugs. They came in quietly, spreading out in formation. Their eyes scanned the room, taking in everything. The broken furniture, the injured men, the woman standing calmly in the center. They wore the same leather jackets, but there was something harder about them, something more dangerous. Then he walked in. The leader. He was tall and lean, not huge like the first biker, but he looked 10 times more dangerous. His face was covered in scars. One ran from his forehead down to his chin, cutting through his left eye, which was cloudy and white. His other eye was sharp and black, like a shark's eye. He looked at his injured men on the floor. Then he looked at Maya. Slowly, a smile spread across his scarred face. But it wasn't a friendly smile. It was a smile of a predator who had found interesting prey. "Well, well," he said softly. His voice was quiet, but somehow scarier than shouting. "Someone's been busy." His men formed a circle around Maya, blocking all the exits. They moved without talking, like they had done this 100 times before. The scarred leader walked closer, his boots crunching on broken glass. He stopped a few feet away from her, studying her face, her stance, the way she held herself. "You're not just some girl who got lucky," he said. "I can see it in your eyes. The way you stand, the way you breathe." He tilted his head. "You're military. Special forces, if I had to guess." Maya's face didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. The leader's smile grew wider. "I knew it. I can always spot one of you." He cracked his knuckles. "This is going to be fun." His men tensed, ready to attack. Maya looked at each one of them, counting again. 12 bikers. 3 exits, all blocked. No windows big enough to escape through. The bartender was useless, still hiding behind the counter. She was trapped, but Maya didn't look scared. If anything, she looked more alive than before. Her eyes sharpened, her muscles coiled like springs ready to release. "You should have left when you had the chance," the scarred leader said. "Now you're going to die in this dirty bar, and nobody will ever know what happened to you." Maya finally spoke. Her voice was calm and cold as ice. "You're right about one thing. Someone's going to die tonight." She paused, letting her words hang in the air. "But it won't be me." The scarred leader stopped smiling. His face turned serious. "Take her," he said quietly. All 12 bikers rushed at her at once, and the real war began. 12 bodies crashed toward Maya like a human avalanche. She didn't run. She didn't freeze. She exploded into motion. The first biker reached her and threw a punch. Maya caught his arm, twisted her body, and used his own weight to flip him over. He flew through the air and crashed into 2 others behind him. All 3 went down in a tangled heap. 2 more came from her left. Maya dropped low, sweeping her leg in a wide circle. Their feet flew out from under them, and they hit the floor hard. A hand grabbed her hair from behind, yanking hard. Pain shot through her scalp, but Maya didn't cry out. Instead, she reached back, grabbed the biker's thumb, and bent it backward until she heard a crack. He screamed and let go. She spun around and kicked him in the chest, sending him flying backward into the jukebox. Sparks flew as the machine exploded, plunging half the bar into darkness. 3 bikers tackled her at once, trying to bring her down with their weight. Maya went with the fall, rolling backward and using her legs to launch them over her head. They crashed into tables and chairs, with splintering everywhere. She jumped back to her feet, breathing harder now but still in control. The scarred leader watched from the edge of the circle, his arms crossed. He looked impressed but not worried. "Not bad," he called out, "but you're getting tired. We can do this all night." He was right. Maya could feel her muscles starting to burn. No matter how good a fighter you are, 12 against 1 is bad odds. But she wasn't done yet. A biker came at her with a chain. Swinging it like a whip, the metal whistled through the air. Maya dodged left and right, then caught the chain on the 3rd swing. She yanked hard, pulling him off balance, then wrapped the chain around his neck and pulled him in front of her like a shield. 2 other bikers stopped their attack, not wanting to hit their friend. Maya shoved the chain biker into them, knocking all 3 down. But she was slowing down. Her reactions were a split second slower. Her punches didn't hit quite as hard. The scarred leader saw it too. He stepped forward, cracking his neck. "My turn," he said. The other bikers backed away, forming a wider circle. This was between their leader and Maya now. He moved toward her slowly, his steps careful and measured. This man knew how to fight, really fight, not like the others. "I did 3 tours in Afghanistan," he said conversationally, like they were having tea instead about to kill each other. "Special operations, black ops stuff, the kind of missions that don't exist on paper." He smiled. "I'm guessing you've got a similar story." Maya didn't answer. She was watching his feet, his hips, his shoulders, looking for any tell that would show her what he'd do next. "The difference between you and me," the leader continued, "is that I stopped playing by the rules. I stopped being a good soldier." He lunged forward with incredible speed. His fist came at her face like a bullet. Maya barely blocked it, her forearm smashing against his. The impact sent shockwaves up her arm. He followed with a knee to her ribs. She twisted, taking a hit on her hip instead, but it still hurt. They traded blows, moving so fast they were almost a blur. Punch, block, kick, dodge. The sound of their fighting was like thunder, bone hitting bone, feet slamming on wood, bodies crashing into furniture. The scarred leader was good, maybe as good as Maya. He got through her defense and punched her in the jaw. Her head snapped to the side and she tasted blood. But Maya had been hit before. She'd been shot, stabbed, and nearly blown up. A punch wasn't going to stop her. She came back with a combination, jabbed his throat, elbow to his temple, kick to his knee. He stumbled but didn't fall. They circled each other, both breathing hard now, both bleeding from cuts and scrapes. "You're good," the leader admitted, wiping blood from his scarred lip. "Better than I expected, but this ends now." He rushed at her, going for a tackle. Maya sidestepped at the last second, grabbed his arm as he passed, and locked it behind his back. She kicked the back of his knee, forcing him down. He grunted in pain as she applied pressure to his shoulder, holding him in a joint lock that would break his arm if she pushed any harder. "Yield," Maya said quietly. The other bikers started to move forward, but their leader raised his free hand, stopping them. "I yield," he said through gritted teeth. Maya released him and stepped back, ready in case he tried something. The scarred leader stood slowly, rolling his shoulder and wincing. He looked at her with something like respect in his good eye. "You win this round," he said. Then his expression turned serious. "But you need to hear this. You've been marked." Maya's eyes narrowed. "What are you talking about?" "We weren't just passing through," he said. "We were sent to test you, to see if the rumors were true, if the ghost of Operation Nightfall was really hiding in this nowhere town." Maya's blood ran cold. Operation Nightfall was classified, top secret. Only a handful of people in the world knew that name. "Someone's looking for you," the leader continued. "Someone with a lot of power and a lot of resources. Someone who wants you dead, or worse, wants you working for them again." He paused. "Tonight was just the audition. The real show is coming." "Who sent you?" Maya demanded. The leader smiled that scary smile again. "If I told you, they'd kill me and everyone I love. But I'll give you this. They're not American. They're not Russian. They're something else. Something older. Something that's been waiting a long time for you to surface." He turned to his men. "Let's go." The bikers started filing out, some limping, some helping the injured from the first fight. The scarred leader stopped at the broken door and looked back at Maya. "Run, soldier. Run far and run fast. Because war is coming for you, and this time there's no winning. There's only survival." Then he was gone. The sound of motorcycles roared to life outside and slowly faded into the distance. Maya stood alone in the destroyed bar, surrounded by broken furniture and blood. Her reflection stared back at her from a cracked mirror behind the bar, hair messy, face bruised, clothes torn. But her eyes were different now. They weren't the eyes of someone trying to hide anymore. They were the eyes of a soldier who had just been called back to war. The bartender peeked over the counter again. Are you okay?" Maya didn't answer. She walked to the door, her boots crunching on broken glass. Outside, thunder rumbled in the distance. A storm was coming, a real storm, with rain and lightning. But Maya knew the weather wasn't the storm she needed to worry about. She looked up at the dark sky and whispered to herself, "They found me." For 3 years, she had been hiding, living a quiet life, trying to forget the things she'd done, the people she'd hurt, the missions that still haunted her dreams. But you can't hide from your past forever. Eventually, it catches up. Maya started walking down the empty street, away from the bar, away from the blood and the bodies. She didn't know where she was going yet, but she knew one thing for certain. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. Behind her, lightning split the sky, illuminating her silhouette for just a moment before darkness swallowed her up again. And somewhere out there in the night, someone was watching, someone was waiting, someone was coming. If you enjoyed this story, please share, and subscribe for more thrilling tales of mystery, action, and suspense. Drop a comment below telling us what you thought of Maya's incredible fight. What do you think will happen next? Who do you think is hunting her? Let us know your theories. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss our next story. Share this with friends who love action-packed adventures. Thanks for reading, and we'll see you in the next story.